My name is Lee Pritz, and I guess I'm her coach.
My name is Justin King. I'm currently Helen's strength and conditioning coach.
I think coaching is kind of a funny thing when people are like, that's my athlete or I'm their coach, is because I believe it's a collaboration. Try to get her to accomplish her goals.
And really, for me, it's like food really is like a mind-body soul process. There is a emotional and a spiritual component to it and a mental component to it for me.
Let the Greeks have their philosophers, leave the yogurt to us. All right, Bulgaria, them fighting words. It's called the Isle of Temptation. I love making this one dish. I had it at a really healthy restaurant and then I just tried to copy it. I think I do a pretty good job. But it's basically spaghetti squash pasta with some meat and like mozzarella, fresh mozzarella, and that's about it. But it's so good. Another thing I really like is this like beet mint goat cheese or feta cheese salad with arugula. So that is, I don't know, really good summer salad. Did I mention it has beets? Yeah, it has beets in it. So we gotta go get the beets right now.
Yeah, I know when I really start cleaning up my food, then I'll start to have more mental clarity and I'll start to have more energy. And once you get to that point, then it's really easy to keep it going because you're like, well, why would I choose to go back to like brain fog or whatever? But I think when you're in that brain fog stage, it's kind of like you don't see your own stuff that you're dealing with, or you're like, oh, I'm still like going to training, I'm still doing well, I'm still lifting well. But I think every little layer that you can add on, you start like eating better, but there's still a lot of not natural ingredients. There's a lot of like emulsifiers or preservatives or chemicals and things, and you won't really get the same benefits as if you eat like really clean, like as if it's just from the land.
This right now is just butternut squash. And then I have some sage and thyme. I'll add some like spices, kind of partly for flavor, but mostly for health. I can kind of eat anything plain and just like orient myself to eat more towards health and the health benefits rather than taste, but I think this tastes really good. So this is organic ground turkey breast, and it's 98% lean and 2% fat. Depending on like where I am in my weight cut, I feel like I can lean out a little bit quicker with turkey rather than with red meat, but I don't have to cut so much weight that I really ever want to cut red meat out. For me, I didn't used to crave red meat, but I started eating it a lot because I felt like I recovered more, especially for hard wrestling workouts. If I just train on like chicken and turkey and fish, I just don't feel as good as when I have red meat in my diet. So I definitely noticed a difference with that. My roommate and I were definitely just about like, not for presentation, we're just cooking for like survival, eating for survival. So we don't really do anything special with like prep work. Straight on the pan, like no shape at all. But I kind of like making little turkey patty. Does that look legit?
Do you need another cutting board for that?
Now that just makes for more dishes. So then now I'm ordering my meat from this farm in Montana. Yeah, I definitely want to do like organic grass-fed, the cleanest like meat that you can get. Otherwise it's a little sus. So the reason that I don't really have any correct like baking dishes and like utensils and stuff like that is because I moved around so much. 40 days now until I have to move out, so I there's no point in getting it now. I don't know if that's just like a terrible mindset, but I've been making do, just cooking in like little bowls and stuff like this. So yeah, and then I made this zucchini bread. It's like keto, gluten-free zucchini bread, and I really like it. So it's kind of my go-to treat right now, because I find that dieting or the process of getting your weight down, it like kind of goes in segments. It's not just, oh, I just flip a switch and it's on and then I start eating clean. Or my off season, I guess, eating is, it's not bad per se. I don't like bad quality ingredients. Like, I don't eat fast food and I don't drink soda. I probably haven't eaten fast food in over a decade. But with that, I'll just eat a lot, or I just eat when I'm bored, or I can be an emotional eater. I come from a Greek family, and food is very cultural, and it's also an expression of love.
Like, you eat your grandmother's cooking or your family's cooking to express love. And so for me, when I know that, hey, this diet is starting soon, it kind of feels like, oh, now I'm gonna have to sacrifice this part of myself, this social aspect. Can't go out with friends right now, or I can't go do this. So I think there's like kind of some mental hoops that you start to go through when you're getting ready to cut weight. Okay, let's say when I start my diet, I'll be like, okay, I'm starting my diet. And from there, it probably takes me like a month before I really start my diet. So it'll be like a week of failing or a week of starting to clean it up and then going back. And so I kind of give myself a month grace period, or I'll start even a month farther out than I want to start. And as that mindset switches and as you start to build that habit, it becomes like very easy to be in that routine. As clean as the food that you eat, you really can't get everything from food, so you do have to supplement. And that's why I really like working with companies that have clean supplements, clean ingredients. Like with the raw products, they are informed sport, they are tested, and I really appreciate that, especially as an athlete that gets drug tested. That just takes so much off my plate with like not having to worry about that. But then also knowing like, hey, I'm at this workout, I can throw my fuel in there, I can get my replenishment, I can get my electrolytes, and then I have time to come home and like have this meal, you know, and know that I hit all my macros and like got the ingredients that I needed. That burnt. Oh no, I've never burnt it before.
It's this good. It really comes down to what does she need. So when she first came in, one of the biggest things for her back in 2016, when she won gold, it was her strength, right? Like when the interview happened, it was like the American was just too strong for me. Between then and now, one of the biggest discrepancies that she and her team had felt were like there's a strength aspect that's missing. And on my end, I'm able to assess and kind of see like, okay, there's some injuries. There were some psychological pieces that she's been addressing. There's all these things, and then we look at those. What's the one thing that we can do that's going to most positively impact what she has? So her strength, right? So we're looking to find how can we get her as strong as humanly possible by the time the Olympics come.
Mentally, physically, emotionally. I think we take them through periodization training. So we go strength, endurance, and then as we're getting ready to enter the tournament, we go into a peaking phase, which we start our speed training. And it's been working really good. Helen seems to respond to it really good.
She's really, really good about being positive, but just seeing and hearing in her tonality the mountain that was in front of her, that's like, I don't know how this is going to happen, with injuries, with the mental state, with all these things, feeling like she was done and out for the count. I remember, I think it was in her second phase, shortly after we had retested her. She got to this point and we finished the session, and she kind of paused and it was like, I'm feeling really strong now. And she was not saying those things before, and seeing her change, and although she is confident, but realizing like, you know what, like, I think I do have that in me this year. Like that gold's gonna happen.
Mindset's everything. It's really important, and and there you have the debates on how much is mental, how much is physical, right? And I believe while you're training, getting up to it's all physical, but by the time you get to the arena, now it's the mental game, right? Your body's prepared. You're prepared. You physically, you watch the video, you're prepared technically. We work on things going wrong in practice. We work on things we don't want it to be perfect. We want the unexpected because we're prepared for it, right? And we'll have them grab singlets. We'll have them grab hair. We'll have them, try to piss them off, try to get them emotional. And we do that in practice because it's going to happen out there. Once they learn to control themselves emotionally, they can focus on wrestling and scoring points. Helen came out here years ago. I don't know how many years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and watching her grow as not just an athlete, but as a person. And man, she's and she may have always been, I don't know because I didn't coach her back then, but she's just really grateful. You know, you have a lot of high level, you have the ability to be really, and you need to be really selfish at times, right? You have to be really selfish. You're trying to do something that very few people on the planet can do. And so you need a certain amount of service. So her ability to make adjustments, to move around schedules has been really cool. You know, and that's her growing as a person. And so everyone's really working together so we can all actually do it together.
The beauty in an Olympic sport is we're peaking for an event. That event is the Olympic Games. This is like a date over the span of a 4-year Olympic cycle that we're peaking for. Helen has been working her tail off. I've seen her have some of the craziest strength gains that I've ever seen in an athlete, some of the fastest rehabbing of injuries that I've ever seen in an athlete. She confidently is bringing her best package to the table. And we still have time. There's still work to be done between now and the games. There's still work to be done. And I can confidently say she's going to be bringing the best of the best. And there's little pieces that we're going to be doing between now and then that are going to ensure of that. But all I can say is between now and then, there's some big stuff happening. And the grand finale is at Olympic Games, man. And we're bringing home gold.
Here's 2 things that I know. She's going to be prepared, and she's going to compete really hard. What happens, we don't know. But those 2 things, as a coach, that's the only 2 things I look for. And I will make that prediction. I know she'll be prepared, and I know she's going to compete hard. She rises up on those days because she knows she's prepared for this, and she loves the big moment. She loves the big moment. So for her, it's probably trying to hold her back a little bit and keep her calm before it's go time.